Good afternoon in Asia Pacific, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Ladies and gentlemen, what a thrill and excitement today, this early morning in Washington, D.C. A very dynamic and a versatile doctor, Suresh Gupta, to this prime time leadership excellence series called New DNA of Leadership. I know Dr. S.K. Gupta last 5 years. It's indeed pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Gupta, to this wonderful show, New DNA of Leadership.
Pleasure is entirely mine. Nice to see you on Facebook and eventually soon in Washington personally after the COVID and the pandemic. So it's a great honor for me to be on your esteemed channel, broadcast live all over the world. I thank you. I look forward to having a good chat with you this morning.
Thank you so much. And it is 7 a.m. in Washington, D.C. And this friend of mine, this mentor of mine, this brother of mine, Dr. S.K. Gupta, is with me. What else can I have this evening staying in India and having my friend in Washington, D.C.? Ladies and gentlemen, let me first have the pleasure of introducing a great professional, a great doctor, above all, a great human being by the name of Dr. Suresh K. Gupta. Born in 1954 in India in a small village, Amargat, district Jind, which then used to be Punjab and now it's Haryana. He belongs to a businessman family, a father, a businessman, and a politician later. Dr. Gupta did his degree in medicine, KMC Medical College in Andhra Pradesh, then 1972 to 78, and started working in 1979 as medical officer, Haryana Civil Medical Services, HCMS, at Ambala, Kent Civil Hospital. Suddenly in 1981, he moved to Washington, D.C., where he is still now. Oh my God, same place, Washington, D.C., 40 plus years. Commendable. Let me give a big round of applause to such a great man. One place, 40 plus years, Washington, D.C. A practicing office-based physician in internal medicine, past 33 years plus in Silver Spring, Maryland. When you look at Dr. Gupta's background, he has been board member with Holy Cross Health Foundation. Currently, he is practicing physician at Holy Cross Hospital, Silver Spring. He has been the vice chairman of Department of Medicine's Holy Cross. He has been member vice chairman of Maryland Board of Physicians, April 2008 to April 2016. Fellow, Federation of State Medical Boards. Teach and train international medical graduates. And I want to tell this to the graduates of MBBS in India. This is one great doctor who has actually built the lives of thousands of doctors from even India. A practicing physician, a board member, a leading panel physician with Embassy of India, Washington, D.C., USA, Commissioner of Human Rights Commission, Montgomery County, Maryland, I could not pronounce it properly, founder, family member 1982, Hindu Temple, Maryland in USA, so on and so on. When you look at his lot of activities as Indian American, not only with Indian Embassy, Chairman Board of Trustee with National Council of Asian Indian Associations, President of Asian American Inter-Community Services, immediate past president and founder, family member, 1982 Hindu Temple of Metropolitan Washington, president in Indian American Medical Association, board members, 6 times American Association of Physicians. As a community member, he has done a lot of work. But beyond this professional stream of this Dr. Suresh Gupta, he has a lot of interests. He is a very good photographer. He does a lot of videography. He does gardening. He does singing on weekends. His singing a sensation on the Facebook. He dances profusely, madly, and he is a philanthropist. His community services, civil duty is a madness of passion and compassion. He always is out to do service to the community. He says, I like networking because opposite is not working. I repeat, Dr. Gupta says, I like networking because opposite is not working. Dear Dr. Gupta, I can keep on talking about what you are, but I am extremely happy to see you here on this show this morning. I have certain questions for you, Dr. Gupta, and I have people joining from different parts of the world, and there will be some people on Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, Global Talent TV, and they will raise questions. I will act as a facilitator to ask you questions on behalf of them. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly park your questions for Dr. Gupta. As soon as I am through, I will certainly take each and every question. I have personally requested Dr. Gupta this morning to keep an hour or 70 minutes for me for this show.
Sir. I'm very much available and ready. I look forward to have a nice interaction and with yourself and the callers or the questioners who is going to be joining into the program. And thank you for such a long introduction. I don't know how much I deserve, but it is something we all do what we do when we do for the community, for the people. We connect with each other, we love each other, we help each other. Holding hands is the name of the game. Somebody help me. I need to reach out to help someone.
It's too long. To start a dialogue, he says, somebody help me and I need to take it forward to help others. That talks about volumes about this great leader, Dr. Suresh K. Gupta. Ladies and gentlemen, I am ready with questions and I am just putting on my Facebook. Keep on asking questions. Please park your questions and I will be responding. I will be requesting Dr. Gupta to respond. Sorry. Okay, Dr. Gupta, my first question to you. Your journey of 40 years in Washington, D.C. Amazing. You are a well-known name in Washington, D.C. in U.S. I am keen to know, how was your upbringing as a child? I understand you come from an ordinary family which became a great businessman and a politician, a hardcore businessman, rather your father. And, you know, probably he has been one of your greatest mentors. Were there any other mentors? Also, I am going to be talking about your respectable mom, whom you call goddess. Ladies and gentlemen, he calls his mom the goddess. Kindly share your journey of your childhood. Dr. Gupta.
Thank you. In 1954, as you mentioned, I was born in a very small village in then Punjab. It's called Amargarh. It is comes under the Tehsil Narwana. district Jind. Um, my grandfather lived as a money lender business in village, and my father was raised and he was born there, and I was born. I also lived a few years in my little village. Village not more than 500 people in 50s. My father decided not to continue business of money lending of my grandfather. He decided to venture out, and he did. He left the village and moved to Nirvana, where he started a small business. Then he eventually was very aggressive, very determined, very decisive, and very entrepreneur. He made good business, he developed good business, he made a lot of money. He installed factories one after the other. He put up a dal mill, then he put up a cotton mill, then he put an oil mill. So that's something. I grew up in a business family. I learned how he was respected in the community, how the mandi, the Anaj mandi, the grain market, people liked him. He represented every boards and commissions. He was panchayat president, city president, tehsil president. I don't know all this. I have attended some of his meetings as a child. I used to see the respect he got. So that transpired me to follow his step, to be like him, and to be maybe at least close to him. My mother was totally uneducated, like we say, angutha chap. She never went to school, but she raised four of us. The kindness, courteousness, religious part of her, listening to Aarti in the morning from the bedside, we used to sleep. That transpired the faith and the character in us. In me especially, I adore her as a kind and courteous person. She really did. So started from a village, moved to Nirvana, where I schooled myself through high school. Then I moved on. That's the answer to your question I can briefly give you. Thank you.
Fantastic. And calling your mom as a goddess is something which I salute and respect you a lot. There's
Well,
nothing.
her middle name was Devi, Rameti Devi Gupta. So Devi is another word for goddess. And today our President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, her official invitation from White House is Kamala Devi Harris.
Wow.
Really, it's the official invitation, Kamala Devi Harris, which is another, I find a lot of value in that word Devi, the goddess. That reminds me of my mother. Thank you.
Fascinating. I know in Washington, D.C., whenever there is an opportunity from any of the presidents and you are there, I have seen you not only the president of America, but whenever there are dignitaries coming from India, Dr. Gupta is always invited. Dr. Gupta, my next question. I would like to know your journey. How did you, from this small town, moved to the MBBS, did your MBBS, and how and what happened? How did you suddenly move to, you had a great job in Ambala, Kent. You would have been somehow a very well-known name in India, but you moved to US with a very small $23 in 1981. How did it happen?
Well, when I completed my high school from my hometown, Nirvana, it was year 1970. I was 15 years old. I don't know how and why, but I was the second topper in Surrey state of Haryana. So I scored well. I was second most highest scorer. So I reached out to my father. Like he did not want to do my grandfather business of money lending. I also wanted to move out to study and sort of stagnating in Nirvana and sitting in the shop and doing the Anaj Mandi. So since I had done extremely well in school, I asked him and he conceded and he obliged to do what I want. So I decided to take off and I decided to do pre-medical. I went to Chandigarh. I did my pre-medical from Chandigarh from 1970 to 1972. Why I wanted to become a doctor? I think it's a long story. When I was a little child, I had smallpox vaccination in my left arm, which we all did. And that thing got infected and had a huge pus in my left arm. My mother used to take me to a doctor who would dress it or drain it so often. Those kindness moments, those passionate moments of being cared by a doctor instill in me that is what I want to be when I could become one. So that is how it transpired to go to pre-medical through 1970 to 72 at DAV College, Chandigarh, Punjab University. And eventually I sought out to look for a medical school, and I ended up in Andhra Pradesh from 1972 to 1978. That is 42 years ago I graduated.
How did
Thank
you
you.
land in US?
Sure, I started working after my graduation in Chandigarh for a year, and eventually I joined Haryana Civil Medical Services as a SCMS officer, class 1 in Ambala, Kent. So I started working there. I had some experiences of my working in India. If I hope I don't annoy anybody, but I had some experiences which deterred me off. Being um, a very son of a money, son of a very highly astute businessman with a lot of money, but I decided to leave the business and work for Haryana Civil Medical Services for 2 years, 1979 to 81, for 1,200 rupees a month. Honest to God, Dr. Mahajan used to give us cash for 1,200 out of that. So during those times, I had an encounter with a businessman whose mother had committed suicide by taking some poison. I was a medical officer in Ambala, Kent. I did the protocol of the government. I took the tube out in her stomach, took the contents out, sent to Sonipat for analysis. And this guy raised a hell that will be a case against them for killing the mother, whatever. And he raised a lot of hell. He brought 500-600 on the hospital, across the hospital to Murdabad, Jindabad, Nare, all that stuff. So that deterred me that this is not the place I want to live. This is a place I want to get out and fly my kite somewhere. And with the help of my elder brother, and I ventured out to move to America. May 23rd, 1981, almost 40 years ago, I arrived in America in Washington, D.C. area. I've been here since then, as you mentioned. Thank you.
Dr. Gupta, fascinating. Now let me go to your next step of yours as a doctor. You held many top positions. You contributed to the human race. And as a physician, you had the positions of board, you had the positions of, being at the top end of vice chairman, and you have also been trained the train and teach the international medical graduates. Which are the roles you felt great about and why? Can you share those beauty of your roles? Among all these roles, in one place in Washington, even Washington air must be remembering you. Washington sky must be remembering you. This gentleman, 40 years in Washington.
Well, when I came here, there were not too many people. I would say probably 200,000 people, Indian American, lived in Washington, D.C. area. Now we have a huge membership here. As we know, in 40 years, we have grown quite a bit. When I came, I came to College Park, Maryland. I did my residency training in Baltimore, Maryland, and eventually in local area in Cheverly, Maryland. So after 4 years of training, I said I knew nobody. I had no family member of my own. I just accept to move with the family I had here. And that is where I trained and I started practicing the area. And the office I'm sitting now talking to you is the same office I came in here in 1986 December. It is a great feeling to be a solo practitioner during those good times and our bad times, whatever time, but we sustained, we survived, and it is a nth amount of feeling that we have done well. We have, over the years, as I said earlier, somebody taught me, somebody held my hand, somebody learned me how to walk. Then I took a decision that I'm going to share the knowledge, share the experience, share the wealth of knowledge I have with my younger students. They're younger, they are my children, they're my future of medicine. So I started teaching and training international medical graduates. I still take students, we call them observership in America. They come take USMLE 1, 2, 3, and I help them to have their rotation at my office for a month. and also escort them to the hospital where I see my sick inpatient patients who are needing the current medicine what we practice. So it's a I don't know. This is a exhilaration. This is a very surreal feeling to help someone. It doesn't hurt me. It's just passing the baton to some children. They can learn, and I want to create many of like me, just like me. I can have some. That'll be something I want to aspire. Thank you, sir.
Tell me, now you have helped thousands of these graduates to become the doctor, and there are already a lot of fan following you have around the world who keep talking about you. And I have seen a lot of testimonials from these doctors. How do you feel about it that somebody made you to learn and you're passing it forward? How do you feel when you get, that appreciation, that recognition from these doctors about yourself, helping them, mentoring them, guiding them, hand holding them? What is that excites you in doing it more and more?
Well, last month is a true story, honest to God. Last month, out of my nowhere, I have no idea how and why, I thought of my Arya Higher Secondary School in Nirvana where I studied. I thought of my every single teacher, Balbir Gupta, our Munna Lal ji, Narendra Tyagi ji. I connected with them. Finally, I found through the school the phone number of Narendra Tyagi ji. He lives somewhere in UP. So I wanted to thank him for what I'm today, what I accomplished today. I reached out to him and talked to him. So I feel my students, when they have done training, they are cardiologists, nephrologists, oncologists in the country for a long time who have trained. It's the same feeling. Thank the teacher who held your hand, who taught you how you learned and you moved on. Honestly, it is a give and take business. First you take it and give it and share it. They're not competing with me. God has given us all our put the line in the pond to catch fish. Jiski kismat itni, that is all we all catch. Honestly, I don't know how to describe, but this is something, a gratifying feeling when you help someone, teach someone, and they say, thank you, Dr. We do this every day. As recent as last month, I had a student, and she's going to be a new doctor in future. And I have a current another student. She's going to medical school next year. So it's a very surreal feeling, my friend. Thank you.
Wow. I can see a comment from Bharat Bhushan Bhatt. That is great. Sharing knowledge and experience gives a satisfaction to one's consciousness. Wow. I can see there's another comment coming from Raj Kumar Latupalli. Suresh and me are classmates in medical school. Most of our classmates at Kakatiya Medical College were from rural background and humble and have inclination to help the needy. Wow, that's found great. There's one more comment coming from Prachi Gujar saying, proud of you, sir, with handfuls. Hey, doctor, you can see I was just talking few minutes back. People are following you. People are appreciating you. People are talking about you. I am so excited. My God, let me give you an e-hug. I can't give you a real hug. I'm giving you an e-hug. Dr. Gupta, my next question. When I look at you beyond a doctor, and I see your role as an Indian American, I always see you have having American flag and Indian flags with you all the time, whether it's your drawing room, whether you are in the embassy, these two flags always with you. I feel very proud and I learn from you, Dr. Gupta. And when I see that you do a lot of work for the community, Indian American community, Asian American community, Hindu temple, Indian American Medical Association, American Association of Physicians. I mean, my God, how do you get this much of time as a doctor to do all this? And what makes you so passionate for contributing to the community?
Well, in one of the interviews, maybe 5, 6 years ago, by a thorough gentleman, very esteemed personality named Bharat Bhargava, he had an interviewed me, just like yourself, sir. And during that interview, he said as follows. He said, when something need to be done, something got to be done, give it to the busiest person. He will find time. And that is the essence of his interpretation. And I must say that a busier person has all the time to do more things. I play many roles. I wear different hats and I love hats, literally. So it is, that they say the time one has to find. Time is all there. It's just that distribute the time, allocate the time. As in Washingtonian, it is a federal city. It is our capital city. It is our diplomatic city. So I connected with the Embassy of India a while ago, right from SS Ray, ambassador. So I have been connected with Indian American community, then eventually Embassy of India. And I had the privilege and I feel blessed and honored that I relate to them. I'm panel physician to them. I have seen many ambassadors as patients. I have seen a lot of embassy officials as patients. It is a great honor that our when Prime Minister of India was Manmohan Singh ji or Narendra Modi ji when I come, eventually I get connected, I get involved, and of course I get invited and uh, just a thoroughbred Indian American in Washington. I love India, honest to God, to say anything worse.
हूँ मैं अमेरिकन दिल में हिंदुस्तान. I am from Bharat and I am an American, Indian American, and India is not going away from me. Feeling proud of you, Dr. Gupta. Stick in Washington 40 years and saying, I love India. I feel proud of NRIs like you who are really a great OCIs, original citizen of India in the heart. Very great. Dr. Gupta, let me go to another aspect of yours. And I see your journey of excellence as a physician, as a doctor, as a community leader, as a community karyakarta. But I see another aspect that you have had major issues in your life. When you were 3 years old, you drowned in the water and someone saved you. When in 2001, a freak frozen weather in Washington, you were one among 128 cars piled up in a Lexus car accident. It is said that you escorted to the hospital by a helicopter. My God, how miserable it would have been. In 2002, ABS brake failure, manufacturing defect of Range Rover accident, you again survived. Again, in a freak accident in Bermuda, you drowned in the swimming pool and someone saved you. And then 1997 to 2001, for 4 years, there was a dip in your financial position. There were financial hardships. Almost then ready for bankruptcy. And in 2017, you again fell down at home, you broke your right leg, got again saved. I am looking at these disasters and I am looking at you as a great professional and a human being. Ladies and gentlemen around the world who are watching you now or who are going to be watching you later will actually look at you that how did you handle such difficult situations and stresses and strains? And how did you come out? To fall is not a failure. It is only when you do not get up again. How did you do it? Can you share these such incidents, stories of disaster, but at the same time, Dr. Gupta leading it way and moving forward. And here, again, excited, thrilled gentleman.
Well, there's a saying I would use here. They call tough man lasts, tough moment don't last.
Wow.
Nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts in life forever, whatever it may be. whether it's financial misery, marital misery, education, health, whatever it may be, nothing lasts forever. As we say also, there's a light at the end of tunnel. One day, one time, you'll be out of tunnel. So tough moments don't last, tough men last. So it is a practice of sustain and survive. You have to go through the bad times, and when you come out, uh, when you when you're in the valleys, when you get to the peak, you enjoy the life. You see the mountain and you see the valleys underneath you. You feel again at the top of the mountain. Honestly, I've been there. I have enjoyed being there at the valleys, sad and suffering, but I enjoy the peaks and valleys of being at the peak. Uh, uh, at some point during my turmoil in 97, when I went through marital discord, I was painful. It was starting all over again. After so long being in Washington, I moved on again. During those encounters, I had traveled to India quite a bit to meet my family, to have support. My elder sister said, "Aage fool, piche dhool." Move forward, don't look backward. There are flowers ahead of you, in the back, nothing but dust. I carried that in my head, moved on. I never look back. I would never look back. Time to move on, move forward. Um, so, it's if one, two, or three, or whatever people don't like you, I mean, the world, 7+ billion people are looking for you. Somebody needs my help. I can help somebody. So it is a way to reach out, way to talk to someone, hold the hand of someone, help as a person, as a physician, someone. If I have $100 in my wallet, if somebody needs 10, 20, take it. I don't need 100. So share the knowledge, the wealth, the money, kindness, courteousness. It can only help, and it rewards you many other ways. Honestly, when I'm in trouble, if for any reason, those blessings help me to move on. It's just my honest opinion.
I think that makes a very important aspect of your persona and personality. That in case somebody needs $10, I have 100 with me, I don't need 100, and you keep helping people, and that gives you much more happiness and excitement. I am thrilled and excited to see Dr. Suresh with such a well known name, with such humility, and with such compassion. And I'm looking at people talking about you. There's one Martha Samuel saying, "We are proud of you, Dr. Gupta." She is on Facebook. I can see another aspect. Raj Kumar, Suresh is an Indian heart and American doctor, always handy and a great singer. He is talking about you staying in he says it is the busiest man who has more time, stands good for Dr. Suresh. He is disciplined person and a good host, never gives up. Wow. Raj Kumar, thank you very much for joining. And I can see Erika Isles saying Dr. Gupta is an excellent diagnostician and a physician who cares both for my parents. I will always be grateful for his care and hold him in high regard. Wow, fascinating. Hi, Erika. Early good morning. You must be in US. Thanks for joining. And I can see Atul Verma saying Dr. Gupta is a superb personality. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been talking from the beginning that this man has is a persona, is a man of action, is a man of relationship, and is a man of networking. And that's where the question now comes. Now, let me go to this aspect. You do a lot of photography, videography, gardening, and you keep on singing Bollywood songs, dancing, and you are very active on your social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you are a great networker. And you always say, I like networking because opposite is not working. Dr. Suresh K. Gupta, how, how does it happen in your personality? You are a multitask, multi-skilled and multi-talented, as well as a multi uh, persona of personalities. How do you do it?
Well, um, be diversified. Is all your skills you have, get involved, get connected, and reach out. Reach out to those who need help. Help those who need your help. Um, God has given us all um, enough, but if somebody doesn't have, share with him. When uh, if I'm in a restaurant or if I'm in fast food restaurant or some place, I would look around me, the guy in front or back, and I would let me pay for these two in front of me and back of me because it makes me feel good that I shared meal with somebody. I sat with somebody. So it is always good to make bridges, not burn the bridges. Always to connect, share, um, whatever. As Raj, my classmate, mentioned, I do a lot of get-togethers at our home. I invite a lot of our good friends, my physician community, Indian American community, my boards and commission who I sit with, local governments, our hospital, our hierarchy, and of course, Embassy of India. So when I have 100 people in our home, those 100 people don't know each other. They really don't. I start with from my left to right, who is who, and I introduce who is who. Mr. D.K. Bakshi from Bangkok, Thailand, Mr. Ambassador of India, Mr. Holy Cross CEO, whatever. And end of my introduction, 100 people know each other. And they know each other, and they did not know each other. And at the end of the day, that is the networking. So I didn't get anything out of it, but I connected people, met people, introduced to each other. And that is what I tend to say, even my get together, my famous quote, I like networking because the opposite is not working. And it is so makes sense to me, and it does. I'm not being an actor here, but there's the honest truth across my heart.
Yeah, I am told that your get togethers are always fascinating and fantastic because there is not only food, there is fun, there is singing, there is dancing, and there is connectivity. And people say, hey, where did we meet? We met at Dr. Gupta's place and we took it forward. And Dr. Gupta is known as a well known connector. Doctor, now
Thank
I
you.
want to come to this 2020, the COVID. The world has gone through a very bad process. We never expected in February, March 2020 that we will get into this kind of a disaster on the human race. As a doctor, where do you see this COVID 19 today? And when do you see, I call it BC, DC, AC, before COVID, during COVID, I suppose I am still in DC, and after COVID. How do you see this COVID 19 now in the world? And when do you think we will go to AC? Do you think after vaccination?
Well, when COVID hit the world in mid-March, somewhere at least in mid-March, our administration announced the COVID. And as we all know, what we went through, it was chaotic, it was frustrating, we did not know much, and we knew nothing. So we were all learning, and the face mask came, then the social distancing came, washing hands came, and we all had the world suffering. So many lives we lost in Italy and other countries, and so many, as of yesterday, 400,000 US. So in the mid-March to, I would say, For a week, I stayed at home as they mandated by the government not to go out in public. So I could not stay at home. Honest to God, I just didn't. I opened my office in a week, and you were seeing patients virtually by downloading few apps, and we started seeing patients on camera, and I started reaching out to my patients. So for a month or two, we went so virtually, and June 1st, 2020, we saw patients live in my office. We had all the gears, what we needed, face shields, masks, gloves, and PPE, whatever we needed, we had. And since then, I've seen patients in my office, and of course, at the hospital where I practice. I've diagnosed many, seen many, and treated many COVID. And luckily, not too high mortality, but a good many survived. Where are you going from here? I personally have taken Pfizer vaccine, first and second dose. My first dose was on December 24th, Christmas Eve in the morning, and I took my second dose subsequently. In my knowledge or judgment, I have not done have my blood test yet, but I can do my antibody titer. I'll be positive, probably safe 96% from COVID. So as of yesterday in US, we have been vaccinated 9 million people, and there are 27 million dose vaccine have been issued. As of 3 hours from now, 12 noon, Washington time, it's like 8 o'clock, our new President Biden will take over. And he said yesterday at Lincoln Memorial, when he had the memorial service for 400,000 people, he said 100 million people will have vaccine in 100 days, 1 million people in 100 days. So I think the US will promote more vaccine production by Pfizer, by Moderna, by AstraZeneca, and other brands. And I think the goal will be to vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. I think that will give herd immunity because more people are vaccinated, more are protected like me, will be reaching out to 100 million like us. So the name of the game is herd immunity. Take the vaccine, do not decline the vaccine. It does do no harm, nothing. I mean, I personally talking in front of you, having both doses. There are people are skeptical not to take in India or here. I think they should take. I mean, it does no harm. It can only protect you. It's not a vaccine trial. It's just not a trial and hit and trial. 43,600 people were tried in 6 countries. So it is well tried. It's not a rushed-in vaccine. It is a different vaccine than a regular vaccine. It is a mRNA vaccine, messenger vaccine. It can be produced in such short of time. And it is, they have done a great job. So my commendation to all the scientists, researchers, the staff people who generated this, provided this, and the government who is giving this free. It is not costing anybody anything. It is free to the citizens of US or citizens of India or wherever. So please take it. That is a way to get rid of COVID-19, 2021, we shall get rid of it. And I believe all the parties come back, all the singing come back, all the life come back.
I love that statement. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Dr. Suresh Gupta advised to everybody in the human race that he has himself taken both the doses of Pfizer vaccination and he is feeling absolutely great. And he is suggesting that we should actually go to this and go for the vaccination as quick as possible. And the way he is talking about the target in India, target in America is very ambitious. And I have one question for you, Dr. Gupta, because you belong to India, you are an Indian American. What do you think? How did PM Modi handle this entire COVID? And how do you see this COVID getting rid? Because we are one of the countries in the world which has got the lowest mortality rate. We could manage it so well, irrespective of 1.3 billion population. What is your view about Prime Minister Modi handling this, and how do you see way forward? Do you think by June or July, India will be free from COVID, or it will take more time?
Well, to put in perspective, our US population is 330 million, 330 million, and India population is 1.4 billion. So more than 4 times people live in India and in a 1/3 of space as compared to America. So
Sure.
three, 4 times more people, 1.4 billion, as compared to the land size is 1/3 of US. So um, the number of mortality in US is 400,000 as of yesterday. The India has done a good job. I mean, a good many people are poor, but the way it was the virus came in, I we did not see as much mortality as compared to Brazil or US to or India. I mean, India is a most populated country in the world, even ahead of China. So I think in general, a good job has been done. We don't see much mortality. I mean, it is not that being reported. I must say somewhere the virus mutated. The virus mutated. It changes character. The deaths we had in Italy in March, April, too many people died because virus mutated now. It's a different virus. As we know in London, the virus mutated again. So the mortality is going to be different in which virus is. So the same thing happened in flu vaccine virus. It changes character every year. So we have a newer vaccine every year. So I took flu vaccine to protect myself from my patients, or not to get it from a patient, or not to give it to my patients. So vaccination is the hope. India has done a great job. I have heard recently 2 vaccines are manufactured by Hyderabad and Pune Serum Institute. I've been following that. Our Embassy of India has asked me some questions, some few staffs. I've been having some discussion with them. So let us all pray. This is not India disease or China disease or US disease. This is our disease. The world has become one place. We fly so frequently, interact so frequently. Each family has one member abroad somewhere moving. So it is our problem. We have a sign at our hospital, and the sign says, we are all in this together. So this is a fight which we have to fight together. So, and we will. I think it's my personal opinion as an individual or a physician, by the end of 2021, we will be able to safely travel all over and have no mask, etc. Let's see what happens. Thank you, sir.
That is great. So the issue is that India, uh, with such a huge population, has a challenge to really get into the vaccination against some of the odds which are politically motivated. We need not to get into that. But as per doctor's advice, it's important to go for the vaccination as quick as possible whenever one gets an opportunity. Now, doctor, in addition to vaccination, being a doctor and handled so many COVID cases, what are your three key messages to human race for COVID-19?
Number one, mask. Mask. Wear the mask if wherever you are. And I must say, wear the mask. I'm going to show myself too. Cover the nose. Cover the nose. If nose is not covered, it's defeating the purpose. As we all know, people go on like this in the public places. It has serve no purpose. It is not a beauty piece. It is not to protect my lips or mouth. The virus goes through the nose. It does not go through skin, does not go through gut, what I eat, what I drink. No, it does not, honestly. So cover the nose. That's a basic thing. We call them 3-ply surgical mask. It has a very great protection. I do not recommend N95 or K95. If you wear a 3-ply surgical mask instead of these fabric mask or a cloth mask, I think this can give some protection. But if somebody has a COVID in the room, this mask is not going to protect. This mask is going to protect. This is much better, safer 3-ply surgical mask. That's my opinion. That's what I do. That's what I wear double mask. I'll wear them. If I see a COVID patient in a hospital, which I do at times, I'll definitely wear an N95 mask because that virus is 90 micron size micron. It'll go through the fabric mask. It'll go through surgical mask. N95 will protect me from a patient who has COVID, which I know he has COVID because I know he has COVID. I'm treating him. So then a person need N95 mask. That is a mask is mandatory, cover the nose. That's my first message. Number two, social distancing. One has to avoid social distancing. You cannot have parties. You cannot zoom around. Somebody has a COVID is going to give it to all of us. We see it all the time. We see all the time. Third thing is, of course, personal hygiene, hand washing, etc., is mandatory. So three key points: face mask, the hand washing, and of course, social distancing. If you can do that, we'll put the COVID away and get rid of it by 2021 end. That's my honest opinion as a physician.
Fantastic, sir. Key messages. And Dr. Gupta himself already vaccinated. Now, my last question to you is,
Let
Dr.
me share with you.
Yeah,
This is my COVID vaccine, and I put a sign in my room, which I'm showing you, and I'm going to read. COVID-19 vaccine. I got mine. Get yours when you can. Dr. Gupta, December 24th. The message to my patients is, please take the vaccine.
wow.
I am example of myself. I am taking myself, and I promote to others to take. So vaccination is the key to get rid of this. That's my statement.
Dr. Gupta in Washington, D.C., early morning at 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. in Washington, D.C., talking to all of us and saying that we need to have vaccination as quick as possible. He has done for himself, he wants others to have it. Fascinating. I have my last question before I go to the question from the audience.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Gupta, you know, I am running another movement. One side I am doing the leadership, other side I am doing hashtag women power, a global movement. A mad man, mad statement of mine, 1 million women to be on this platform by 2024. How do you see world going forward on women power, for women leadership? What's your viewpoint of women empowerment?
Well, on this auspicious day, January 20th, 2021, it is 8 o'clock at 12:01 afternoon today in 4 hours. President Biden will become officially the president after being sworn in. Number two, the vice president will be Kamala Devi Harris. Number three, when the SOTUS State of the Union address is given by the President Biden, first SOTUS, the people two sitting behind him, the first time in US history, two women, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Vice President Kamala Harris. So the woman power is defined right from there. Two women behind the President of the United States, first time ever. Number two, Biden has already announced his cabinet, the 12 women in the cabinet, maximum ever. That talks about a woman empowerment. Honestly, you can all Google it, it's all there. So 12 women are going to be sworn in and confirmed in the US administration coming as of 12:01 p.m. today. Number three, a good friend of mine, he was my guru who taught me medicine, Dr. Sidhu and his wife. They are very good friend with Kiran Bedi, our famous Kiran Bedi. I think she's in Pondicherry these days, if I'm not mistaken.
He's my
And
mentor.
yeah, so she came to Washington to their home and she arranged a get together, and I was invited. I went to meet her. So it was very fascinating to see such an astute, powerful woman, Kiran Bedi. So your answer to your questions are: women like Kiran Bedi are the leaders. Women like Kamala Harris change the world. A Afro-American, Indian-American woman can become vice president of the United States. Honestly, what a strong statement. What a strong message to the world. A person of caliber of two women sitting behind president to define the rule of the Senate and Congress is a very powerful statement. Well, that's what I would say. And I must say at this juncture, you're doing a great job. You're a great friend. You have taken a good agenda of 1 million women empowerment. If you do any event in Washington, I personally will take the challenge, accept, and show the leadership, and we will lead, and we will definitely join you, honest to God. And we'll put all the, we'll make all the engines run at full speed.
Oh my God, that's fascinating. You know, this women power was started with Kiran Bedi as the first women power. She is my mentor. We work a lot together. I will share you some of my videos with her. She is the greatest women power this country has produced. And I am happy that today by 12 noon in Washington, D.C., in America, the president is behind two powerful women. And that is what women power is. I would like to congratulate all American friends. Hey, Scott Friedman, are you listening to me? Hey, all my friends there, that and Indian Americans, Dr. Surinder Kaul, who is going to be here next week, next Wednesday, and many other friends in America, that today this is exhibiting the women power. So I must thank Dr. Gupta that you have supported me in terms of taking it forward in Washington. I will be certainly talking to my Women Power US, who is the chapter in charge, and will connect with her. Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have seen how fascinating, how easy, humble, compassionate, caring human being Dr. Gupta is. I want to give a big round of applause for what he shared with us this evening. And I have some questions coming from audience. And here is a question.
Please.
Raj Kumar is asking, what is the treatment protocol in US for COVID?
Well, treatment protocol for is a three-level answer. When we have positive COVID in office-based medicine, we just monitor them. 10 to 14 days of quarantine at home, that is all they need. If they are younger patients, they're just going to do well. I mean, I have never seen a catastrophe who are office-based, home-based young patients that don't need any aggressive treatment. Just monitor them, their oxygen level. We tell them to buy a pulse oximeter, which can monitor the oxygen level, cost you $20. Number two, the second group of patients who are sort of middle age when they get sicker, and they are the people who will benefit not to be at home and not to go to the hospital. And we treat them. We have monoclonal antibody regimen, and through the state program in my state, where I practice in Maryland, and we can log in there and they can register themselves within few days of acute infection. If they're getting worse, we can give monoclonal antibody intravenously to them. That's a good protection. I have seen patients receiving that. The third group of patients who are very older, they're elderly, they're sicker, they're losing their oxygen. We send them to the hospital. A chest X-ray shows, if so, a typical COVID pneumonic picture. They're losing their oxygen very rapidly. They are the ones who will get in trouble. So monitoring them in the hospital, we use early intervention with intravenous steroids. We give them decadrone, dexamethasone, solimedrol, all kinds of intravenous steroids. We give them, there's no role of antibiotics, but I think if we suspect adding an antibiotic to the pneumonia, bacterial pneumonia on the top of viral illness can help. It can prevent that incoming infection. The early few, we use vitamin C in those patient high doses. We use magnesium in high doses. We use antiviral in remdesivir. We use that. It's a clinical trial going on. We definitely use that intravenously in hospital patients. So three-pronged. Is it a hospital patient? Is it office-based getting sicker, IV monoclonal antibody, or the office-based, just monitor them and follow with them. In my practice, I think I have not lost any office-based medicine. They have done well. They're going back to work. And I have, in this office, have seen many. Hospital, we do lose patients because they just have many underlying conditions which made them prone to get sicker and infection and die. So answer to my good friend Raj, my classmate, yeah, my answers to your question, Raj, or Bakshisa.
Yeah, fantastic. In the meanwhile, I'm getting more and more comments on you. Atul Varmaji says, Dr. Gupta, super personality. He says, salute to real God on this earth, Dr. Gupta. And I must salute, hey, Atul Varmaji, I am saluting myself to this great man along with you. Manish Singh Taneja says, proud moments to watch Dr. Gupta. Sanjeev Tanwar, they are saying 3 cheers to Dr. Gupta. I can see Simin Sood from Thailand, Sanjay Kumar. And I can say you know, Atul Verma is asking a question. What about Indian vaccines? I think you talked about, but quick one, please respond to him. Are you clear about Indian two vaccination? He is asking, what about Indian vaccination?
Well, it is a government of India decision. I think the government of India made agreement through UK to buy the AstraZeneca vaccine. And then they collaborated with to manufacture those vaccine in Serum Institute of India in Pune, I believe, and second vaccine is from Hyderabad. So that is what government of India has contracted and produced and giving. So I don't believe it's a cost factor, but in America, our administration bought 100 million vaccine for like $17.8 billion, which we are all getting free. So I think effectiveness is same. I would think so. Whether I get Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, or Johnson and Johnson, or the vaccine made in Pune or Hyderabad. Um, I mean, the clinical efficacy, the trial, the testimony would prove they shall take. They should not resist not to take. I don't find any reason. Atul Verma is from hometown. He's from Nirvana. I have chatted with him lately. I've taken care of some family members. So it is my distinct honor. Again, Nirvana ka chora, Nirvana ka child, I'm taking her back home while sitting in Washington. Honestly, I'm going to say, you can take a villager out of a village. You cannot take the village out of him. I have every drop of blood saying Nirvana written on it. I say that. Thank you.
Sarifa Yunus is watching you from Australia, and Kul Satit is watching you from Bangkok, Thailand. And here is Raj Kumar again saying, lot needs to be done for women empowerment in rural India. The rural women have been great potential. Lot is being talked, but yet is to be accomplished. Yes, I think I would like to respond to you. Yes, lot is being talked, but then in case people like you, me, Dr. Gupta, we make some contributions, this caravan can be a bigger and bigger. I would request Mr. Raj Kumar, please get in touch, see what we can do. I have an India chapter also going on, and we can make a difference to this important women power of our life. Okay, now I move to another question, and this is from S.K. Agarwal from the Global TV. S.K. Agarwal is asking Dr. Gupta, how and why you moved to US? You should have worked in India and built Indian, ground for your professional pursuits.
Well, the answer is opportunities. Where the opportunities are, one strive for those. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of doctors in India want to come to America even today, which are trained to become here. So in those times in 80s, if you remember, used to call brain drain, that Indian brain is going out, as Mr. Agarwal says, but in real sense, as we learned, as Modi says, and the administration says, we're not brain drain, we are the brain power. We are 4 million Indian American in America. We can do a lot for India than I can do myself in India if I was in India. But I'm talking to you, relating to my Indian people in Nirvana, my classmate Raj, or my Kurukshetra friend in Haryana. I can do a lot from here. I treat my Indian American people in Washington with broken my heart. I have families to build a temple in Washington, so generation can go there and see that. So, I mean, we all moved from one place to the other to move on. So I didn't turn my back away from India. I went back to India to touch someone. I still do every day WhatsApp. I see my knowledge of medicine shared with my students. I help on WhatsApp to treat people online. I mean, I give my opinion. That's what I would do, and they get treatment. So in my opinion, I think if I come to India, invite me to come, I don't think the system or the people existing there, they will welcome me. They will feel threat to me that I'm going to take their business away. That's my opinion. So
another question is coming from Global TV. He is saying these days people keep on moving places to places. How come Washington, D.C., 40 years? One place, 40 years, Dr. Gupta. How can it happen?
Well, DC is a federal city, is a capital city. Embassy of India sits right in DC on Mass Avenue, 2107 Mass Avenue. So when I came here, being the background of my father, I mean, sort of not politician, but politically motivated. He knew every CM, Bhajan Lal, everybody, Huda, every knew. So I sort of have that background that I want to be connected to them. I have that religious feeling that I want to live in Washington with the temple around us. So as a result, Washington gave me my mother's nature of being religious. It gave me my political power of being in Washington. And I came here, I trained here, I settled here. Till today, I'm the only family member in my family settled in Washington. So I have nowhere to go. I have no interest in going to Texas or Los Angeles or New York. I am happy and I'm not king of the hill, but I have been long enough that I relate to my people, my community, and people. When the CM of Haryana come, I meet with him. When any cabinet minister come, I get invited to attend and help them. When Prime Minister of India come, I definitely will be there to make things happen. So it just depends when, where, how you can play a role. And that is why I ended up in Washington. I think I will die in Washington whenever.
Great. Washington, D.C., 40 years. I can see Kunji Singh waving. Kunji Singh, Sawadikab, how are you? Long time no see. I am in India, can't see you. And I hope all is well at your hotel, Sheraton. He is the owner of the Sheraton when you come to Bangkok, Dr. Gupta. So G Singh is waving. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I have one more question coming in. Let me just see the question. Yes, one more question is that Dr. Gupta, this is Sami Rudra. Sami Rudra is asking, Dr. Gupta, can you share how many Indian graduate students you have mentored and handholded till date in last 40 years? As DK Bakshi was saying, you have mentored thousands of doctors. Can you share the number, please?
Sure, definitely. It's a good question. Um, well, I have been in this office sitting here since 1986. So that makes it about 34 and a half years I've been practicing here. So it took me about 5, 10 years to settle. And eventually, say 1996, I said, let's reach out. I became involved with the Embassy of India. I had my practice. I had 2 children, and I was, ready to load, ready to launch. So I started teaching, training students. And, normally I'll take 1 or 2 per month. You can add up how many number that would be. I have taken mostly from India. I've taken from Azerbaijan. I've taken from Indonesia, Jakarta. I've taken from Philippines. I've taken from Malaysia. I've taken from Saudi Arabia. I mean, list is too long. There was a young, beautiful woman. She was from Saudi Arabia. And she asked me some question. And I said, but this is the countries I have teach students for. She sent me a world map in my, it says, these are the world map. And I put a pin on each country which students I've trained from. And I'll send you a picture later of that. I have trained students from 69 countries. I don't think the number is in thousands, but if I have trained in 1 month 2 students, that is 24 a year, time multiplied by 20 years, you can add that up. I mean, I cannot be in thousand, but again, to share somebody, 1 student is more than enough. I've taken high school students who want to go to medical school or want to go to college, make them become a doctor. That is the ultimate satisfaction I had. As recent as last week, a student I trained from, who is from Delhi, living in Washington now past 3 years, she wants to be a doctor, and they picked me to help her. I felt excellent and just ecstatic about it.
Dr. Gupta, I just love you for your passion and the way you communicate what you have really done and you have contributed. And in fact, there are more and more comments coming in. Manjeet Singh Taneja saying Dr. Gupta ji is also championing community services for healthy America. You're championing that also. My God, Raj Kumar, again and again, lot of beautiful comments. I think I need to, we are beyond now 75 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, you saw this great doctor from a small town from India, did his graduation in medicine from India, and finally moved to USA, Washington, D.C. 40 plus years, one place. 40 plus years, one place. Amazingly saluting this personality of excellence. And then, as a physician, as a doctor, doing service to the community as a great, he's like a god. You know, doctors are like gods to us, and doing service to the community. And in addition to his profession, doing a lot of community services in Indian American, Asian American, Indians per se, and temples and other philanthropist activities. He is amazingly a great persona of mix of, Suresh, simply unique, rich, energetic, successful human being. I repeat, simply unique, rich, energetic, successful human being. That's Suresh. And Suresh is powerful. It has been an exciting talk with you, Dr. Gupta. I have been looking forward in last, we booked it 3 months back, and I was waiting for this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, this new DNA of leadership is really excelling in the world. Today I booked somebody for April. Today I booked someone, Webex CEO in Singapore. I booked him for 7th of April because I don't have the date till 7th of April. People are coming and being part of this show. And I'm going to carry on this new DNA of leadership entire 2021 on Wednesdays, and Saturdays I'm carrying hashtag Women Power, a global movement, all Saturdays. And Dr. Gupta, you wanted to say something because here's one Mr. Dalip Bhattu. I think he wants to ask you a question. He is from the community of Kashmiri Pandit. He's a well-known president of Mr. Bhattu. You have a question for Dr. Gupta? I unmute you. Mr. Bhattu. Mr. Dalip Bhattu, are you there? I think I am not able to unmute you. Okay, Dr. Gupta, you can carry on.
I just want to share before we go. I must thank you. You are a great friend. You are a great soul. You are a good communicator. You're doing a good job connecting people, making bridges, as I mentioned before. I must say the world is a much better place to live with people like you. And we all do, what we can do, how we can do. I want to thank the audience, my friends on Facebook or otherwise, all over the world who know me or don't know me, for joining us. Well, today is a very auspicious day, January 20th, 2021 at 12:01 p.m., 4 hours from now. Washington will have a new administration, a new beginning, a new era in the USA and for the world. It's going to be a much better place to live for next 4 years. It's just the beginning. I mean, I'm going to say the last word. Abhi to party shuru hi hai.
Wait a while, sir. I will not allow you to go. There is going to be proper vote of thanks by my friend. His name is In Narula. He is born in Thailand. He is a Thai Sikh. And uska bhi dil Hindustani hai. And he is 4 generations in Thailand. He is part of Global Talent Director, Bangkok. He is going to propose formal vote of thanks. Achan In, Sawadikap, are you there?
สวัสดีครับผม Namaskar ji. How
Namaskar.
are you, Dr. Suresh, this evening, Dr. Gupta?
Thank you, sir. Nice to hear your voice. And thank you
Yes,
for
same here. I was
Can
also
we
educated in
Can
America.
we have, Varsha, can we have In Narula's camera on? Can you get him on camera so that they can meet each other? Varsha,
Well, Dr. Bakshi, I prefer to meet Dr. Suresh Gupta in person when the skies open up, which is not too far away. It would be probably the beginning of next year.
Look
But
forward to.
absolutely, and also Dr. Bakshi and myself, of course, you know, we connect and we know what he wants to say. Invite you to Bangkok whenever possible, you know, within your busy schedule. And I hope seriously we can meet here, sir. We can
Well,
show you another part of world.
Washington welcomes you. I turned 66 last week, and I plan to work for a few more years. And when I retire, that is all I have to do is travel. And I promise you, and I assure you, Thailand, Bangkok will be in my bucket list on the top. I'm coming. Trust me. Let this pandemic be over. That's my first stop out of Washington to travel to Bangkok.
We look forward to seeing you, sir, and you're always welcome. And also belated happy birthday. May God always bless you,
great
because
birthday.
because God is working through your hands to help mankind. And we need more people like you, sir, all around the world.
Thank
Well,
you.
a
Thank you
very
for
proud Indian, Dr.
Yes, you're muted. Oh, I think he got disconnected. Are you there?
Here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, you can see me now. All
Yeah.
right. I'm going to dissect, you know, as in the term of biology, Dr. Suresh Gupta as a person and also as a doctor. Now, as a person, he's humble, he's very personal, he's kind, he's compassionate, he builds bridges, and he's very helpful. He multitasks and he's multi-talented. He's resilient. He doesn't give up. He manages time efficiently and very effectively. And his motto, somebody help him, somebody held his hand. So he made it a point to help others, to train them, to share knowledge with them, those who come into his way. Bravo, God bless you, sir. And his hobby, he is a photographer. He loves gardening. He likes dancing. He likes singing. And very importantly, he is a philanthropist. Whoa, what a great person he is. Now, as a doctor, the statement that I love the best, this COVID-19 is not a Chinese COVID, it's not a USA disease, it's not an Indian disease. It's a human disease. We are all in this together. And his advice, wear mask, cover your nose. N95 masks is most effective. Social distancing is the way to go. Personal hygiene is very important. Get vaccination so that we all can get together, so that we all can eat, have fun, connect with each other and make friends, sing and dance. Networking, again, because the opposite is not working. Dr. Suresh Gupta, sir, you know, your discourse this evening is just brilliant. We love you. We thank you. And God will always bless you, sir. And we need more people like you in this world. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, sir.
Mr. Narula, you're too kind with your generous words. You really are. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I promise we will meet soon, inshallah. Honestly, we will. We will. Thank you, Bakshi Saab, for doing such a good show.
Very great, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever has joined around the world and who's going to be watching it later. What a passionate doctor I had this morning. I wish all of you a great happy new year, full of wonderful and beautiful things. And please start sharing with people that this is going to be one of our best years of life. When we talk each other, this is going to be one of our best years of life. Universe will respond us. Let's make this one of the best years of our lives. 2021 for the human race around the world, one of the best years of life. Dr. Gupta, from the core of my heart, thank you very much for being here. And thanks all attendees around the world who have been part of the show. Have a great day and wish America new president and the vice president a great opportunity for leading America and making America a great nation again. All the best and good luck. And a great relationship between India and America. That is important for the world. India and America has to have a great relationship because these are two democracies which can work together for the world. Thank you very much, Dr. Gupta.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great night. Good
Good
night.
night.
Good
Thank
night.
you,
And have a
And
nice
thank you
day,
all.
sir. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
30, so exactly 90 minutes.